Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dungeons & Diary. I am your host, Super Saiyan Donkey Kong 64. So, this episode is going to be a bit of a brief recap of the last one. Not many things took place as a lot of the previous ones, but still, we're going to do it anyways. So, to start things off, the party had just got done dealing with the Chain Devil, basically pretending to be Sven the whole time. And they were now trying to figure out the next course of action. So some of the players were just venturing off amongst other parts of the town, just getting some last bits of business taken care of before they plan their next adventure. Sazarek, Half-Eyes, Seeker of Neverwinter, who is a new member to the party, was speaking with Morgana and was trying to get some more details finalized with the attempt of taking her to Neverwinter to seek aid from the Council of Neverwinter to make her transition of power within the city of Brindlevale more authentic and fit all terms of legality and a smoother transition than just, hey, I'm in charge now, everyone, what to do. So that was basically the course of action over there. So he was there rummaging through paperwork, scanning the proper documents, and while doing so, forging copies of his own and changing details so that now he is currently the deed owner of the Good Time, which he's going to rename to a different name. I think he said the Laughing Mask was the name of choice, but basically, yeah. So he's doing some shady work behind the scenes. Rourke actually went to the one monastery within the city of Brindlevale, which is actually a temple of Lyra, who is a goddess of light, a lawful good, I believe. Saw the old cleric that was there, a pretty low-level cleric, with the intention of having the curse finally removed from Baneater and just making it a normal axe. Because due to his now ascension to being a multi-class paladin as well, to be a paladin of Grumsh, he doesn't want to have the axe have any sway over his direction for his character and his character's choices. So he's like, hey, I'm going to try to get this axe just turned into a normal axe, because while Grumsh is an evil god, his mission is to basically kill those deserving. Whether it be good or evil, if they deserve death, kill them in my name and honor. And Safi, you are such a loud fucking cat. What do you want? Anyway, sorry about that interruption. Do you want up here? Then run away. Okay, so, anyways. Since the cleric wasn't a high enough level to actually perform the remove curse spell outright, because it's a third level spell, I decided to format it into like a ritual setting so he can try to circumvent the fact that he couldn't cast it naturally and turn it into a ritual, where there was going to be a DC check to see if the spell succeeds. Unfortunately, it did not, so the axe remains a cursed weapon, and a sentient one at that, now aware that it was trying to be purged. Rourke, okay, here we go, Betty. Rourke, not being pleased with the result of his time being wasted for absolutely nothing, decided to kill the cleric and with his blood smear this symbol of Grumsh within the walls of the Temple of Lyra. Good old Rourke. At this time, Izzy was checking a few of the shops because he is now multi-class as well into Rogue. So he was just looking to acquire some thieves' tools, some ball bearings, stuff for the trade, basically. So he took care of that business. Khaleesi, who is now no longer going to be a part of the campaign, she has been put in a position of like a steward for the city upon Morgana's return. And, let me see, Nee, who was absent this session because he's out of town. Basically, he's just reading his Kama Sutra book over and over, just going over new techniques, and that was basically all he was doing the entire session. The party then decided to get a town hall meeting set up, and almost all of the citizens of Brindlevale showed up, and you see Kitty Head. Citizens of Brindlevale showed up where they announced their intentions of, hey, you guys have been brainwashed for the past few months. This here is Morgana Lyra. She is the heir to control for the city and everything. Overall, good person. We're going to try to get help from Neverwinter to make this transition painless as possible, help with establishing better trade routes, and overall try to help the city. So everyone just needs to sit tight a little bit. This is what's going down in the town. Due to some good charisma rolls, the people of the city were like, okay, sounds good. We're just mindless peasants. Please just rule us. Ah. So at this point right now, they decided to go through the Crags, which is the mountain range just to the west of Brindle Vale that is just on the northern border of the Neverwinter Woods, on their way to Neverwinter. Because it's either they go along the where the forest line and the mountain base meet, where there's like a good 50 to 100 foot area of like just nothing there. It's like a makeshift road, but it's not actually a road, it's naturally there. Or they take a more direct route by actually going through the Neverwinter Woods. They're like, let's go with the Crags. Let's not just aimlessly go through the woods on our way to Neverwinter. As they traveled, they decided to try to go originally, just go through the whole night, no one sleep. Let's just get to Neverwinter as soon as possible. We'll take the exhaustion points and we'll rest up once we're at Neverwinter, whatever. Upon their travels, they decided to stop at a stream to give the wargs, which are their mounts, some water and a little bit of food to try to relax. And upon doing so, Izzy saw some movement out in the distance. It looked feel like a humanoid that had not noticed their presence, was walking absentmindedly. But while everyone was doing their stealth checks to make sure that they could get a little bit closer without drawing attention, Rourke rolled a critical 1. So while he was loading his heavy crossbow, it says, click, click, by Safi, click, and drew the creature's attention. So combat has not begun. And this creature was a Bodak, which is a pretty nasty undead creature, especially the fact that if you fail your Constitution saving throw for its Death Gaze by a certain margin, your character's hit points are just reduced to 0. That's it. So this was already going to be a pretty decent challenge, but the party were okay with it. Some of them were realizing, oh, hey, we probably should be making eye contact with this thing because it keeps trying to drop us down. And it also has this aura of like decay around it, so as long within a certain range of it, you take necrotic damage at the end of your turn regardless. So it's very disadvantageous for melee classes to deal with this creature. And after going through the first round, they realized there was a second Bodak that was just appearing just outside the woods, hearing the commotion, because I think Izzy used a shatter spell on the creature, which drew the attention of another Bodak, which could have shown up a round later, but since attention was drawn, it came out. So now the party were fighting 2 Bodaks. Not a deadly encounter, but a very difficult encounter nonetheless. After a few rounds of fighting and people eventually learning to attack with disadvantage by diverting their gaze away from the Bodak, they eventually do drop the 2 of them down. In which case Bondel did go unconscious because he kept failing his saving throws against the creature, but not enough to go to 0, but just a normal fail. So only one character went unconscious, but nothing bad about that. Rourke was able to try to harvest some of the decrepit undead fingers and nails of these Bodaks, so we can try to make like a necrotic potion, something of that nature. I'll probably go over, figure out something to do with that later on. And then they decided, alright, shit was scary. We're going to go take a full rest now. Screw going all the way to Neverwinter. We need to regain our bearings. We've actually gone through a decent amount of spell slots dealing with these 2 creatures. So Izzy cast his Leomund's tiny hut to create like a 10 by 10 magical place for them to sleep where other creatures can't see them because they're in this little pocket dimension of existence. And that's where the session ended, with them all taking a long rest. So a very brief episode compared to previous ones, but again, this was more about finalizing ties and details with Brindle Vale and then moving on, hopefully in Neverwinter, where a good portion of this campaign is going to take place for the foreseeable future. Thanks for stopping by. I will likely see you guys in 2 weeks. Take care.